Okay, can you hear me?
We can, thank you, Barb.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yes, there's been this little rumor going around that the Democratic Party of Sumter County is going to the dogs, but hey, I have to admit, it's just there's a little bit of truth to it, but only in a good way. This is our most current fundraiser. It just launched yesterday, and I hope that many of you received an email from us that basically asked the question, do you have the cutest dog, Democratic dog, in Sumter County? And I know we love our pets, and so many of you, of course, said, yes, I do, you know. So we have a little bit of a contest that we're launching, and we are very excited about this. All you have to do is enter a photo of your pet. Entry fee is only $5. It started yesterday, the 8th, and you can enter your dog's picture through the 27th. Only one dog per picture, and please no humans in the picture. So the voting will start after we end the entry on the 27th. Then we begin the voting process on November 1st. And that ends the 19th. Now, there's no such thing as voter fraud here. We can vote often, we can vote as many times as you like, and so forth. So we can't, it's not like the real election where, you know, we have one vote, one person. We have $1 for each vote. And we hope that you will get out there and urge your friends and neighbors and relatives from wherever they are in the country to vote for your most special pet, your dog. We anticipated that everybody would raise their hand and say, but what about the cats, you know? So we will be having a separate contest for cats in a few months down the line. So they're not included in this. So how do you enter? Go to our website, the Sumter County Democratic website, which is sumterfldemocrats.com. And many of you are familiar with our website. It's right up here on the screen. If you received the email yesterday about this contest, there's a direct link that you just click on within that message that will take you to the front page of our website. And there's a big button that says enter the dog photo contest. So we hope you participate. This is going to be a lot of fun. And the last thing to mention is, so what's the prize? Well, if you win this contest, if your dog gets the most votes, your dog will be featured on the cover of our 2022 Democratic calendar. We will also have the runners-up on each page of the calendar. And, you know, that's pretty exciting. And the calendar is also going to have some really neat Democratic stuff in it as well. So that's my pitch. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak about this today.
So I just have a question for Barb Deeker about the contest. Is there a way that you can post that on social media so we can share?
Dee, yes, we will be posting the little ad, if you will, the flyer on our Facebook. We can share it with, you know, others who want to post it on their Facebook pages. We'll be putting it on our Twitter account and Instagram accounts as well. But if you want to share it on your sites or whatever, just let us know, and we can, you know, give you a version that you could, you know, post on your site.
Can we share from the DEC or the Sumter County Democratic Facebook pages? Can we go on there and share from there?
Yes, I would absolutely.
Okay. I'm excited. I want to get people involved.
I think that may be the easiest way, actually, is, you know, once we get it posted on our Facebook, or that's probably the way that would be easiest, is just to do a share. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for asking.
Okay, this thing's pretty interesting, everyone. This is this posted in Breitbart, and this John Nolte is a conservative right-wing columnist, and part of his quote is, right now there's a countless number of Trump supporters believe they're owning the left by refusing to take a life-saving vaccine. That's a quote. In a country where elections are decided on razor-thin margins, does it not benefit one side if their opponents simply drop dead? This is how those folks think. So I had read a few articles on this, but then I started Googling this, and you can Google that quote. So take a picture of this. And if you go out on Google and you enter either the first quote or the second quote, or Google John Nolte Breitbart, and you can follow this stuff. And it's like, it's just bizarre to me as their thought process. But anyway, they kind of do make you go, This was overheard at the Villages Dog Park. And, before I broke my ankle, I golfed with a golf group that was totally all Republican except for me. In fact, out of a group of 16, I was the only Democrat. But I'd hear this stuff all the time, and so it doesn't surprise me. But I think that Fauci's response is pretty good. That I've heard stuff where that he actually spent money over there, and I'm not sure he was in the position to do that. So anyway, this is a nice little cartoon from not exactly sure where it was from, but in the 9/20/21 Guardian edition, that there's a bunch of quotes. And one of them is, it was that they found a quote in Las Vegas, the V&V Tack and Feed store posted a sign saying the drug ivermectin would only be sold to horse owners. And in all caps, it says, must show a picture of you and your horse. So it's getting pretty bizarre out there. If it wasn't so tragic and it was taking lives, it would, it'd be a comedy skit on Saturday night. So anyway, there's a million of these out there. Side effects and boosters. I don't know how many people had boosters. I got mine. My wife got hers. We had each one of these side effects are all short term. They're all very mild. I didn't have chills. Sue had more aches through her whole body. It was more like flu for her. But a little bit of injection site pain, a little tired, a little bit of a headache. Not much muscle pain for me, but Sue had it. So these are short term. They're mild, and I don't know why you'd spend money. I don't know why any states would spend money for preferring to buy treatments versus getting the shot. So, but I shake my head a lot on this stuff lately.
Hey Psych2Go family. Before we get started on today's video, we at Psych2Go want to wish everyone safety and health during the outbreak of COVID-19. Stay strong. We're here for you. Over the past few weeks, the feeling of uncertainty of the future has caused many people to feel anxious. People are worried about their health, families, their jobs, about how long they have to stay inside their houses, rent payments, etc. The cases of anxiety being reported to mental health professionals are rising day by day. So, here are 6 signs of coronavirus anxiety and what you can do about it. 1. Excessive worrying. Have you been feeling worried for the past few days? Are your worries not letting you sleep? During this uncertain time, our minds have the tendency of overthinking and creating situations out of the what-ifs. If you feel like you can't stop worrying, then designate a time for your worries, like 15 or 20 minutes in a day. You can talk to someone about it during that time. Or maybe just write what you're feeling in your journal. Make sure to take time to unplug from your social media platforms and make sure to spend some time without constantly checking the news. Number 2, hopelessness. It might feel like everything is hopeless at this time. You might feel like this whole big chaos might never end. Or maybe you were looking forward to something for a long time and it's been canceled. Or maybe you were finally feeling better and then this pandemic happened and now you're feeling lost again. These feelings of disappointment are normal and you don't have to ignore them. What you're feeling is valid. Staying away from any kind of misinformation and checking out the positive news from around the world, as well as seeing acts of kindness and compassion from people, can help build hope that this too shall pass. 3. A faster heart rate. Stress may also cause your heart to beat fast. This happens because your body feels like it's in danger, and to prepare you for this danger, it secretes hormones. These hormones are responsible for your heartbeat rising, high blood pressure, breathlessness, etc. If you feel like this, try grounding yourself with these simple steps. First, you can do this by touching anything that you can find near you. Second, try to describe things around you that will help you feel more grounded. 4. Irritability. Have you been feeling irritated a lot in these past few days? Do you get easily upset or frustrated? You might feel that your emotions are all over the place, and living in close proximity with your family or friends makes them an easy target for your sour, grumpy mood. This might make you feel even more guilty about your emotions. By reminding yourself that it's just a response of stress and it's valid for you to feel this way, your feeling of guilt can lessen considerably. If you're an introvert and are living with others, then there's a likelihood that your feelings of irritability could also be because of not getting enough alone time. Remember, you're allowed to take space, as it's an important part of your self-care. 5. Restlessness. Do you feel like you're always on edge? Are you having a difficult time staying still or relaxing? Maybe you feel like you always have to keep on checking the news all the time, so it would be better for you to take a break from the news or limit your consumption. Occupy your mind with something else, like making a new recipe, painting, reading a book, watching movies, or chatting with your friends. 6. Fatigue. Feeling tired most of the time is a common symptom of anxiety. If you feel tired easily, then it would be a good idea to engage in activities that energize you. It could be anything that makes you happy and excited, like dancing or maybe playing with your pet. Exercise can also help you feel active while improving your mood. Do you relate to any of these signs in this video? Let us know in the comments below. Many therapists are providing their services online nowadays. Also, there are some who are sharing knowledge on how to take care of your mental health on platforms like Instagram. So try to take advantage of these services to help relieve your stress. If you're already seeing a therapist, getting in touch with them is also a good idea. Talking to someone helps in dealing with these feelings rather than bottling them up inside. Stay safe, everybody. Stay strong and stay home.
The Marion County Democrats, they have a focus group project going on. It's create messaging to motivate young voters, get NPAs to vote for Democrats, and motivate Hispanics to vote for Democrats. And there's a contact information there. Volunteers are needed as with all this. So please take a picture of this if you're interested. I know there must be some Marion folks online. So thanks for that. Lake County, is anyone from Lake County here from the Lake County Democrats want to say a little word about this? Is anyone here? There's an election coming up November 2nd. There'll be 2 Democrats running, and it looks like Lady Lake, Ed Freeman. So there's contact information there if you're from Lake County. Okay, I missed this in my proofreading, so this is, the website's wrong on this.
So I'm just going to kind of switch modes here and go to something a little bit lighter, a little bit closer to home, and kind of quickly go over the problem we have in Florida here with these algae blooms. And I realized that at one point I didn't exactly know what an algae bloom really was. And I kind of looked it up a little bit, and basically it's just an excessive growth of algae. And most of the algae blooms are good and they're beneficial because they're tiny plants that are food for the animals. But there is a percentage, it's a small percentage, but it's still too high of algae that is harmful algae. They're referred to as HAB or red tide. And the red tide caused a lot of harmful effects. You know, some of them are blocking sunlight from reaching other organisms, causing a depletion of oxygen levels in the water, secreting toxins into the water. It can even injure animals, lead to fish die-offs, cities having to cut off water to residents, states closing fisheries. It can cause illness and death in humans if they're bad enough. And one of the most well-known harmful algae blooms is the Florida red tide, caused by a type of algae that produces a potent neurotoxin, and it kills iconic marine wildlife, impairs our beaches, and it makes people sick. So what causes it? Basically, around this area, it's the phosphorus and the nitrogen in our fertilizer. When plants around here receive fertilizer, if they are over-fertilized, anything the plant doesn't use goes into the waterways, and then the algae blooms are created. The challenge for us Floridians is to not use any more fertilizer than the plants would use, and use it in such a way that the plant will absorb it. And so how bad is it in Florida with the algae blooms? Pretty bad. The Ocean Conservancy calls the algae blooms in Florida a crisis. In 2018, the red tide was so bad it killed an unprecedented number of fish and wildlife and prompted a state of emergency. Scientists at the National Ocean Service have been monitoring and studying this phenomenon for a number of years to determine how to detect and forecast the location of the blooms. The goal is to give communities advance warning so they can adequately plan for and deal with the adverse environmental and health effects. And I have this chart up here, and it's kind of hard to read, but it basically summarizes the human and marine impacts. For instance, red tides can create dead zones that are too low in oxygen to support most marine life. The right side of the chart recommends 2 actions, which are restoring shellfish beds and monitoring and research to track and forecast the red tides. So at the county and city level, there are fertilizer ordinances to help protect the waters. These are just guiding laws that fertilizer companies, applicators, and citizens have to follow. Not all city and county ordinances are up to date and as effective as they should be. As of 2017, all springs-based areas are required to comply with the Florida Springs and Aquifer Protection Act. 24 of 30 springs have been found to have excess levels of nitrogen pollution, particularly nitrate. Sources of nitrate or nitrogen in these systems can include wastewater, water from septic tanks, stormwater runoff, fertilizer runoff from both urban and agriculture lands. So here is an example of fertilizer ordinance requirements. This one's from Lake County. The Keep Florida Beautiful organization is trying to use Lake County's ordinance as a template for other cities and counties. The requirements here are pretty simple. No fertilizer with nitrogen or phosphorus from June 1st to September 30th. And then conversely, from October 1st to May 31st, you have to use 50% or more slow release nitrogen. And then also no application of fertilizer within 15 feet of the shoreline. The fertilizer you buy, it needs to conform to these requirements. And when applying the fertilizer, just really make sure you don't over-fertilize. Go by the label to avoid over-fertilizing. If you have a shoreline in your yard, make sure there's plenty of plants on the shoreline and don't remove any that are there. They serve as a filter and a last line of defense for the water. And finally, ask yourself if you really need to use fertilizer at all, as many yards can thrive without it. So this presentation was basically just kind of a awareness thing and to bring it up in people's minds again.
Everyone, please remember, these presentations take a team to put together. Thanks to Marsha, our speaker for this month, Amy for putting the presentation together, Rick and Andy for Rick and Andy and Dennis, Rick for running the Zoom, setting things up, monitoring, moderating. Andy and Dennis for monitoring and checking for questions. Everyone who contributed. Thanks all of our members who joined today. I saw 62 at one time. Remember that be careful. Pandemic isn't over. It can boom up at any minute. Apparently it happened before. And so when the boosters become available, please get them, wear masks, and we'll see you all next month. Thanks a million for joining today.